This is a really exciting week here at St. Francis. Many of us cannot contain our excitement about this, and Melissa at least is going to come and tell us more. And then Lynn is too.
Good morning. Lynn asked me to bring my pom-poms and do a cheer for the St. Francis Summer Fair, and I just decided that you really don't deserve that. But first of all, this is the last call for Emily Award nominations, so if you have some special person in mind who has just contributed over lots of time to our church and to our community, please fill out or either fill out a nomination form or just alert a vestry member. Thank you. So, the fair. This is going to be a wonderful occasion, and I have a big invitation for each and every one of you. Watch it. You can be blessed with the opportunity to help, to be a cashier and sit for a few hours at a booth taking people's money. Do you remember how Alice used to love to handle money? Alice Hauser. You could be a parking attendant. Have you ever had that opportunity before? Now's the time. You could help set up tents and tables on Thursday. Ooh. Friday, you could help us set up, put cloths on tables and put the items on them. Saturday, you could help with cleanup. I know that will be a popular sign up. And if none of the above really turn you on, then how about just come and enjoy the fair, and we will welcome you. There are sign-ups in the narthex, or you could just let anybody know. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Melissa. And before Lynn comes up to share her own enthusiasm, our in-gathering for our stewardship cards is next Sunday. So bring them next Sunday. If you've not sent them on their way already, place them in the offering plate and we'll have a special blessing. And now, Lynn, please come.
Surprise, I'm not asking for junk today. Mary asked me to talk on stewardship. Mary introduced me to St. Francis by the Sea. I had spent 3 summers in Blue Hill feverishly restoring an 1850 farmhouse that had been neglected for many, many years. It was all work and no play. I knew no one, only the people's faces of the guys at EBS and the guy behind the paint counter at Home Depot. Then I met Mary. She and I chatted, and she suggested we get together after the fair, that she was busy working on her garden booth. Silly me said, "What fair?" Mary, who was always very polite and proper, for one moment looked at me like, the St. Francis Fair, like I had 2 heads and didn't know that. She explained that all about the fair, and she told me about her booth, and I thought, that sounds like such fun. And I asked her if I could help her with her booth. And she said she didn't need help, but she suggested that I call Mary Hartley. I called Mary Hartley, and Mary immediately paired me with Granny Zadok and the dynamic duo of Sarah Everdale and Judy Roundtree. What a blessing that was. I had never been to the fairgrounds, so I got there very early and went to my post. I was expecting a yard sale. I had no idea that this was such a massive undertaking. I could just watch everyone working together to pull this thing off, and it was a wonderful thing. I was really amazed that there was a line queuing at 8 o'clock when the gates didn't open till 9. They were all ready to jump in there and get the best junk. The duo gave me a break and told me to check out the fair, which I gladly did and bought my dining room chairs. Having never stepped foot into St. Francis Church, I decided to go that Sunday after the fair. I walked in and was greeted warmly at the door and took my seat at a pew up front. I remember looking at the needlepoint kneelers and thinking what a labor of love they must have been. The organ music started shortly thereafter, and it filled the church. We sang every verse of every hymn. I belong to a Catholic church in Florida, and sometimes we never got to the second verse. And the recessional hymn, forget about it. Halfway through, people had their car keys in their hand and were ready to bolt to the parking lot. My Catholic church was 1,200 families. There were 2 masses Saturday afternoon, and there were 5 masses on Sunday. It was a big church, and they were anxious to leave. And at St. Francis, you stay for coffee and conversation. I didn't stay for coffee hour that day. Mary Hartley had announced that, yay, we did it again. And I thought coffee hour was going to be a celebration of having another fair under your belt. I did fill out the blue card, and I handed it to an usher when I was leaving the church. That very afternoon, Claudia called me to welcome me to St. Francis. That very afternoon. We had a nice chat, and we arranged to meet in person a few days later. I think that day was the beginning of my love affair with St. Francis. I found myself in that same pew until we left in the fall for Florida. I went back to my megachurch, and I couldn't help but compare the two. One was an intimate, caring, welcoming church with needlepoint kneelers and a white steeple. The other was a big box church. I was very active in the big box church. I was an usher, a lector, and I was a Eucharistic minister. But that church didn't have the warmth or the community that St. Francis has. After several conversations with Claudia, I decided to convert. I was very excited. That November, I was welcomed and received into the church in November by Bishop Stephen Lane. At the reception following, I became officially a member of the family. Everyone was genuinely happy for me. And that brings me now to this long story over with, and I want to talk to you about stewardship. Over the years, I've been blessed with opportunities to show my support. I've been involved in a couple stewardship campaigns, Plan Giving, the vestry, a couple of fun dinners with Melissa and Suzanne, and the biggest was, of course, Zoom bingo during the pandemic. All were rewarding experiences for me. I love St. Francis, and I want to do whatever I can to support it. Stewardship is our way to do that. It's our way to make St. Francis alive and healthy financially. It's our way to ensure St. Francis's future. The future of St. Francis is really, really important to me. Thank you for listening.
Love is contagious, Lynn, and thank you for spreading the contagion of your love for this place and for us. and it has spread. You're doing so much for us this summer, and it does my heart good every day to see people coming and going, and the vibrancy of this community coming alive the first Sunday after COVID is an amazing thing. I wish you all could see what I see out of my window every day. And Lynn, you're attributed with restarting the fair so that we could come together as a community once more. It's a lot of work, but we are so grateful to you. Thank you.